G'day, Jack Hillis from Wagga Caravans. Today we are here looking at the Cruisemaster ATX Level 4 Air Suspension. This air suspension is a factory option on this Lotus Trooper that we have in stock at Wagga Caravans, and we're today going to talk to you about how this system works. The system is a brilliant system. There's many features and benefits to the ATX Air Bag system, but today we're going to talk to you about how to set it for travel and then also how to set it if you're at your camp. If you're at your campsite, you're going to lower the caravan down as far as you can lower it, and then you're going to bring up the side of the caravan that needs to be brought up in order to level. To do this, we're going to flick to manual and we're going to drop the air on the two toggle switches all the way down. That's going to bring the caravan all the way down with no air in the system. We then bring up the side that we need to level it. That is going to level the van to your caravan campsite. When you're finished camping and you're ready to drive home, to be able to tow, you're going to flick your control system to auto. This is going to give you your bump stop clearance and it's going to give you your level to ride height. This is not a campsite level. Remember, it's not a campsite level. That on the gauge, we can see that we have relatively equal pressures, 57 to 61. Now that might change depending on what you've got loaded in the van and where, but generally we can see that the door side of the caravan is at 57 PSI, the road side of the caravan is at 61 PSI, and that gives us a reference. Once you've flicked your system to auto, you've got everything packed away, you're using that as a reference point. Now, we advise all our customers not to travel with the caravan in the automatic position. Once the van is set and level, you then, to tow, flick it to manual. That maintains that pressure in that side. As long as the compressor's still on, if a little bit of air was to move out, then it's going to maintain 57 and 61. And that system is set by the suspension underneath. Now, the bump stop clearance is roughly set between 5 and 6 centimetres depending on the van. Now, this will make sure that you have adequate air and adequate pressure in the system to ensure that your caravan is running at optimum spring rate. Now, another thing to check, and not always relying on your pressure gauge, is to work out a reference from the top of your tyre to a mark on the chassis. Now, this is going to give you a secondary level that allows you to check that both sides are sitting even. Now, we can see here that the top of the tyre perfectly lines up with the bottom of the H. Now, I'm going to use that reference point going forward, that I know when the airbags are set to their optimum ride height, that I can do a quick walk around and check that the top of the tyre lines up with the same mark. We're underneath the Lotus Caravan having a look at the ATX Level 4 Air Bag Suspension. Now, the self-leveling components of this system are the air valve and the threaded rod. Now, the threaded rod gives a predetermined measurement for the bump stop here. Now, the bump stop distance between the bump stop and the trailing arm is what this sets for its predetermined pressure. So we can see that this van, for this amount of clearance, needs 57 PSI on the gauge to maintain that clearance between the bump stop and the trailing arm. If you were to load up this side of the caravan more, it's going to need more pressure to maintain that distance. Now, that is done by this valve here and this threaded rod. We also have the remote reservoir shock and the airbag. Now, you can see that the airbag's all nicely protected behind all the system. It's a brilliant system, airline, all there for exceptional travel and exceptional ride handling.